You clicked on this video for a reason. I can imagine that you're familiar with the following pattern. You're excited about drawing. You used to draw all the time. It was something you had a lot more time for when you were younger, and it used to be pretty good. Life got in the way, but lately you've been wanting to get back into it. You buy art supplies you fully intend to use, you make time later in your day, you have references saved in a Pinterest board right next to some obsessive fandom ship. This is normal, well-adjusted behavior. The time comes. You sit down to draw, and suddenly it's the last thing that you want to do.
What? No, I don't want to do that.
You're going to have a great time.
No.
You might meet some new people.
No.
You'll even make some new friends.
No. No.
You might sketch a little, but the quality is rough, and the process feels tedious. What happened? Why doesn't this feel as magical as you remember? More importantly, how can you get that magic back? My name is Jacob, and for context, I'm a 3D artist at my day job. After making my passion into a career, I have really struggled to find the motivation to make actual art just for the sake of it again. After doing the cycle I just described too many times, I started experimenting to find a way to make art feel fun again. All the advice in this video is what personally worked for me after years of trial and error. It's not a perfect method, and everyone is different, but I am confident that you'll get something helpful out of this. First, I want to outline what the actual problem is. You stopped making art a while ago for a reason. Starting a family, a new job, or whatever, it truly does not matter why. What does matter is that it's been a while and your skills have atrophied. Your idealism and nostalgia of making art is meeting the reality that making art is hard. This is an energy and tenacity problem. While starting back up again, you are going to burn significantly more creative energy than you remember using. This is a finite resource that exists separately from your health and circumstance, but is affected by both. I think it's helpful to visualize creative energy as MP, or mana, from a video game. Creating art is like casting a spell. Right now, you're trying to do something like, I cast Tsunami! But your MP gauge can't hold enough magic to cast something like Magic Missile. The tips outlined in this video are designed to help you build more of that energy, and develop the tenacity to apply it to your art when you hit that initial wall. Tip number 1 is get your body right. I was really surprised by this, but there's a reason that it's number 1 on the list. I've never been the most athletic guy, but it wasn't until I started consistently going to the gym that I noticed how much better I felt. You don't have to go to the gym, but if you have a very sedentary lifestyle, or if you feel you should improve your relationship with your body, that's a great place to start. Improving your health is like increasing your HP, with the added bonus of extra mana due to stress relief and increased self-confidence. When you are making art, that's basically a representation of yourself. So increasing your self-confidence will naturally help you feel more confident in self-expression. You might be thinking, but wouldn't time exercising cut into my available art time? In theory, yes, but in practice, this isn't about time. It's an investment. For the time and energy that you put into your health, the energy you will receive will be 5 times as valuable as the time you could have spent creating. Tip number 2 is understand that you are now a coughing baby. The last thing that will help you is comparing yourself to the artist that you used to be. This is damaging because your skills have degraded with lack of use, but also because you're a different person now and therefore a different artist. You will need to give yourself a lot of grace, while at the same time strive for consistency to build your foundation back up. A lot of people will say to commit to something like 30 minutes a day, but we both know that's not happening. It isn't about the amount of time spent, it's the consistency that's difficult. At least for me, that made practice feel like a chore. Instead, I like to think about it like carving out 30 minutes of a day where I could create, but didn't have to. That way, art was a privilege and not a thing I have to do between 5 and 6. The only thing that was required is that I start at a certain time. If I'm not feeling it, I can assess if I'm being lazy or if I just don't have it that day. Forcing yourself is a fast way to end up disliking your process even more. There's a fine line between knowing when to push yourself and when to take a break, and unfortunately, that's just something that you have to figure out. Some people err on the side of being too lenient with themselves, some people won't know to take a break until they physically have to. Just be honest and give it your best shot. you will improve proportional to the effort that you put in. Tip number 3 is follow the fun. This, please, if you take nothing else from this video, this is the most important. At least starting out, the actual process of creating has to be fun. That is very different from wanting to create something and training to do it. For example, I love illustration. My Pinterest is nothing but really cool illustrators that I admire and hope to one day be like. However, I do not like digital painting. It just feels very tedious to me, and it's difficult for me to stick with it. Something about not having paper texture while drawing makes my brain very unhappy. It's very possible to admire the outcome of a creative process, but not enjoy doing it yourself. And if you don't enjoy it, you won't do it. Your brain is a dopamine maximizing machine, and it's going to prioritize activities that feel good. This is a battle you cannot win through willpower alone. So, if finger painting sounds like fun, do it. If you want to make a freaky planter out of a doll, do it. If you want to make this, you could also do that. That is an option. Tip number 4 is it may come back different. This one is actually pretty fun. In my experience, a lot can change in a few years. That includes you. I touched on this briefly earlier, but the way you express yourself creatively is likely to change over time. For established artists, styles tend to adapt and change. If you're coming back after an extended break, you actually have a lot of wiggle room to rediscover what works for you. As I previously stated, I'm a 3D artist by trade, but since I've made my passion into a job, it no longer appeals to me in the same way. I used to be pretty bummed out by this, but there are so many other things that I could do creatively that are just more fun for me now. I frequently wish that I was immortal so I could have all the time in the world to master every art form, but I'm stuck with the one lifetime, and unfortunately, so are you. If you haven't seen the movie Runaway Bride, it is in a very abstract way about a girl who has spent all her life dating men and eating eggs in whatever way they prefer for breakfast. At the end of the movie, there's this delightful scene where she has an entire spread of every possible egg configuration, and she's trying them all. She had gone her whole life trying to be something for other people, but when she starts living for herself, she has to try everything to find out what she actually likes. In a similar vein, I highly recommend trying different mediums and techniques in an effort to rediscover what feels good to you. It's totally possible that you end up doing the same thing as before, but it's worth really trying the whole spread before deciding what's worth spending your time on. Tip number 5 is project-based learning. This one is more about discipline than anything else. You are going to have trouble with consistency. Unless you are like the most Zen-focused monk living in the Himalayas, practice is going to feel like chewing gum. Meaning, it's going to have a lot of flavor at first, and then it's going to get boring, and you'll wish for a different piece with more flavor. This is completely normal. There's going to be this little voice telling you, you learned everything you were supposed to from this one. It would be so much better to move on and do something else. It is very important that you do not listen to that voice. That is the siren song leading you to stunted progress. The recipe for creative success is repetition. As unfortunately mundane as that is, it's the truth. To make this pill easier to swallow, I recommend doing project-based learning. Meaning, come up with a project that has a definable outcome, set a timeline, half the scope, and then do that project and nothing else until it is done. Do not cheat on your project with side projects. If you do, you will go to art hell where all of your unfinished projects will torture you for all of eternity with the ghost of past cringe. That is my only hard and fast rule. And the payoff is that it forces you to push yourself past what you thought you could do, and by the time you're done, you get to be proud of what you made. You get to look at your project and think, man, this was just an idea I had, but I made it into a real thing. And that's powerful. Even if it doesn't turn out the way you wanted, it was still your volition that made that thing. And I'll bet by that point, you'll learn enough to do so much better in the next one. Making studies is still an important method of practice, but instead of study number 23, of some statue you don't care about, make a series of studies that share a theme. or make figure sketches that build a narrative. What's important is that you find a way to make practice feel meaningful to you. Tip number 6 is to increase your tolerance for being uncomfortable. Getting the proficiency you want again is an uncomfortable process. You have some idea of how things should look, but it feels like your hands just can't create what your imagination is asking for. There's no way around that initial wall of, ugh, this is harder than I thought it was going to be, I'm tired, I'll just start tomorrow. So, you'll have to gain the mental muscle to move through that wall. Step 1 will absolutely help with this, but this step will look different for everyone since we all have different strengths. For example, I'm antisocial, so I frequently put myself in social situations at the edge of my comfort zone. I learned some ASL at a local community center, I DM'd a one-shot, I got a few dates by asking out girls in person. These things were uncomfortable, yes, but ultimately things that I wanted to do. Making art when you're not as skilled as you prefer is no different. Tip number 7 is to limit what your job takes. This one is tough. More than likely, your job tries its absolute best to take every ounce of energy you have, and you spend your weekends recovering and not much else. This blows, but the system can be fooled. I like to think about it like smuggling. You have a finite amount of energy at the start of the day. It's your task to do your job as efficiently as possible, avoid coworkers that cause bullshit, and get some of your precious energy out of the workplace and not spend it on life stuff like grocery running or a big dinner. Increasing your overall capacity is more important, but running more efficiently is valuable too. I know that's easier said than done, but I bet you've been doing this subconsciously for a while. And as long as you can get away with it while your money-making job suffers minimal losses, it's totally worth it. Tip number 8 is to normalize self-expression. Be cringe. Become okay with being the person standing out in a room. Seriously, as an exercise, wear a goofy hat in public. Go to like a Walmart, cruise down aisle 3 with a squid on your head. Nobody is going to say anything. Buy clothes that you feel like yourself in. Speak in a way that feels right to you. We live in an oversaturated art world. Living like everyone else and expressing yourself in a way that feels risk-free won't get you very far. The technical proficiency of a piece is significantly less important than the originality of the core concept. A Roman classical painting sure is beautiful, but are you moved? I can almost guarantee it doesn't impact you with the same intensity as the first few songs of your favorite musician when they weren't nearly as good as they are now. You have to have some skin in the game to represent yourself in your work. That vulnerability is scary, especially when you don't have the skills to represent what you want. It helps to start small. The more comfortable you are in expressing yourself in general, the more confident you will be in applying creative risks. Not all of them will pay off. The ones that do will make your work feel like you. And feeling different from other artists is very important. Making similar work to people you respect is bound to happen. It is actually a fantastic way to get started again. But eventually, you will have to introduce vulnerability into your art. Think of the artists that you respect. The reason you can connect with them is because they were brave enough to put themselves into their craft, and those pieces of them resonate with you. Tip number 9 is art discords. There's a good chance you're doing this already, but joining an art discord is a fantastic source of support. Find one as specific to your medium and techniques as possible. Servers with a small, dedicated group of people are the best because you can all get to know each other. Find people that you want to impress. That personal connection will help with accountability more than any calendar would. Tip number 10 is just start. If you are looking for a sign to get your butt back on the drawing stool, this video is it. You can listen to me go on about things you should be doing all day, but these are just things that worked for me. Maybe you're different, but nobody's going to put a brush in your hand and force you to paint your favorite sunset spot. If you are the type of person where if you don't do something right now, you won't do it, it's me, I'm that type of person. Then do it right now. I'm not kidding. There are 2 versions of you in the future. There's the version of you that said you'd do it tomorrow. Then there's the version of you that gets to go to bed 1% more proud of yourself because you finally did it. Even a little. Even though it was bad. Even though it hurt a little bit. You took the first step to reclaim this part of yourself that you forgot you needed. After all, you clicked on this video for a reason.